Nikki, also known as Dragonfly7673. You're watching DragonflySoars. It is June 17th, Monday, about 7:30 p.m. I'm starting later than expected. I work late, and then I was trying to gather stuff, and then I was rearranging things because the sun was just blasting in. I tried kind of waiting it out, but that wasn't going to work. So I kind of moved things around. And then I had to adjust the tripod because my son was messing with it. He was messing with it because he was going to use it. And then he realized afterwards that I use it all the time. Technically it's his tripod, so I'm not really upset with him about it. It was just, I wasn't expecting to have to readjust something I'm used to all the time. And then the cats want attention. This is a Tiggy cat. You may hear squawking from Missy Girl because she's been a little bit of a pain. I'm doing things a little out of order because I'm realizing that today especially, I have things to tell you and I have forgotten. I never mentioned that I'm going to Midwest Fiber and Folk Fair in Grays Lake, Illinois. That is this coming weekend, the 21st through the 23rd. I will be there on Friday because I am taking a class with Franklin Habit. It's a class on knitting tessellations, which are kind of cool looking patterns. We're supposed to bring yarn, bring needles, bring graph paper, pencils, and erasers. Hi. The same class is being taught at Stitches Midwest, but that one was full before I even knew about it. You know, by the time I saw the brochure and went to go look, it was done. So when I saw it at Midwest Fiber, I didn't sign up for it at first because it was a little pricey, but I've heard Franklin Habit is a very good teacher. I really put it off for a while, and I don't take a lot of knitting classes because I think I can teach myself most stuff, but this is something different that I've never heard of. So I decided to go for it. So that is a morning class. I will be done about 1, and then from online Yarn Tales, Brandy, she and I are going to try and meet for the afternoon for a couple hours and wander the booths. So, hi. And let's see. That was the big thing that I kept forgetting. I also keep forgetting to mention that the prize for this month's birthstone-a-long comes from Allison, who is AZAD, and she lives in Australia. So again, she's going to be shipping direct to the winner. And this month it is the Weeping Angels colorway. So at the end, of course, there are all the prizes. With that, and I will post that here too, so you guys know what I'm talking about. And with that, one of our prizes, the prize for September, has been listed as a surprise. And today I got to find out what our surprise prize is. So that's coming from Nikki, who is Livin' for Fishin'. And ages ago, she made me this project bag. And she doesn't have a shop at this time, but it's got a wrist hold, it's got a drawstring bag. I actually, when I made my Everlasting Love shawl, it lived in this bag because it carried the lace weight and the shawl perfectly fine. So this is one of my favorite bags, especially since she made it specifically for me. Well, she is donating a project bag, and the top of the project bag is actually this same dragonfly material. And then there is also a matching skein of yarn and I believe she said a little tin of stitch markers. She took the pictures before she remembered to put the stitch markers, I think it was the stitch markers, into the picture. But I will post the picture here of the prize she's donating, and then of course I've updated the birthstone-a-long at the end. So I think that is a fabulous prize. So I'm really excited to have that. She is going to be mailing that out to me this week, and then I will have it in my pile here. And speaking of prizes, I'm excited because I won prizes. I don't like this shirt. It's been driving me crazy all day. I won prizes on the A Spinner's World podcast, which is primarily about spinning and or knitting with handspun, but it is Ashley is Spun Too Tight, and Hop Stitching Away is Doris. Doris is a friend of ours. Dory. And Dory isn't always there, but Ashley usually is. And anyway, I won a prize. And apparently she was having fun because I was behind on podcasts, so I hadn't seen it. And then she recorded another podcast before I had watched it, and in that one she was saying that she kept seeing one of the winners online all weekend going hee 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 because she knew something that they didn't, and I'm pretty sure that was me because I was online all the time. I was just behind on podcasts. From the time my dad passed away, I just got backed up, and I didn't have time. Well, I decided that I normally watch everybody at 1.5 or 2 times speed. Well, I notched everybody up. So if you were a 2 times speed person, I notched you up to 3 times. So I got through, so then I can get through 4 hour-long podcasts in an hour because now they're only about 15 minutes. So I sped through. I am not caught up on audio podcasts, but I am all caught up on video podcasts. So I don't think it'll stay that way for long. And of course, then I start thinking, oh, what other podcasts can I watch? Like, I won't get behind soon after. So I won a prize. Anyway, I won a prize from her. And she's going to be, I believe, dyeing fiber for me. And then she asked what my favorite colors were because she was going to do some dyeing. And so I answered her the other day. Then the Yarn Harlot is raising money. She's doing her really long bike ride again. And so I donated the other day. And she has what she calls karmic balancing gifts. And instead of waiting till the end and then doing a big drawing, she kind of does them, she does drawings along the way. Well, I donated a couple days ago. Today she sent the instructions on how to be included in the drawing. And so I said, yeah, go ahead, enter me. And I sent my information. Well, I did that right before lunch, and like an hour and a half later, I had won a prize. And it's actually on her blog today. It is a beautiful skein of yarn. It's Schaefer Marjana, I think. It's merino silk. It's blue. I stole the picture from her webpage, so I will post that here. Alright, now, I do not have any finished objects, but I am going to post pictures of Tiff's finished sweater. If you remember, the last time she was here, she had gotten yarn to make I think it's a Danbury sweater. I might be wrong. I'll post the name of the pattern when I post the pictures. Anyway, it was we had gotten her purple and lime green yarn because she wanted something that was really contrasting. So she wanted to make her sweater mainly purple and then have these contrasting, bright, popping stripes. So she's been working on that, and she finished it this week, buttons and all. Now she's just waiting for Vegas to cool down. But pictures. Okay, so what have I been working on? Well, I worked on the labrum socks. Now, I had told you guys I was going to work on the cuff for a while and then start doing ribbing for the top of the cuff. Well, I had told myself that I needed to do 3 more full repeats of the pattern. So I did that, and I just started the ribbing at the top. So I want to do 20 rounds of ribbing. That usually just seems to be a good amount for me because by the time you stretch it, it shortens. So I used to do only, because I don't like doing ribbing, I used to only do 10 rounds of ribbing. Well, 10 rounds of ribbing might be this big, but then you stretch it and it's like this big. It doesn't really hold up your socks real well. So then I up to 15, and now I usually do 20, and that seems to be about the right amount. But anyway, I'm working on them. I actually tried them. I had told you that I didn't think they were going to fit. I tried them on the other day, and of course they're on the needles. That always makes it a little harder. And they actually seemed like they did fit now that I was a little further up the sock. So I'm going to wait and hold judgment till they are complete. They definitely fit from the toe to the heel. It was just this part, but it seemed to be okay once I got past the bend, so to speak. Now I dropped my yarn. Oh well. I've also been working on the butterfly beanie. If you remember, it looks like this. This was from a Knit Picks kit that I bought. On the show notes, last week I wrote down what it was, but I forgot to actually add the links. This time I put the links in. But the pattern is also just available as a Ravelry download. But you can get kits, and there's actually two kits. This one has a brown background with the multicolored butterflies, and the other kit option has a cream background with the multicolored. And of course, if you wanted to, you could kind of do because the pattern is available on Ravelry as well, you could just get, any color. You could mix and match your chroma and your solid. But I linked to the pattern, to the yarn, and to the total kit. One of the total kits, I think, to the brown one that I have, but there's a link over to the cream one. And actually, it seems to be fitting well. I'm not going to try and put it on right now, but so far it seems to be fitting well. I'm really liking how the pattern is turning out. And my floats are coming out. Not that anybody looks at those, but the floats are coming out really pretty. And so I will post an updated picture of this here. Alright, and if you don't remember, that is for the birthstone-a-long. Birthstone-a-long this month is Pearl, which is, and we're doing any natural wool color. So browns, grays, taupes, cream, even white. That's happening too. So that's my birthstone-a-long project. I did a smaller one because I knew I could get it done, because the socks that I showed you were supposed to be my May emerald color. That's not happening. And the next color they would match would be sapphire, but that's not until December. No, September is sapphire. But I didn't want them on the needles that long. So, I also worked on the twitchy socks. My ball of yarn is inside the sock because I was knitting in the movie and it was easier than having the ball roll around. I had told you that when I finished this purple, I would start ribbing with the lime and the pink. However, we went to go see Man of Steel, and we were in the movie theater, which means I couldn't tell when the color changed. And while I can knit the knit stitch in the dark, I'm not so good with the purl stitch, so ribbing tends to be a problem. And I actually, at one point, had some problems with stitches, a drop stitch, and the big problem I had when I was knitting, I somehow got this yarn tangled up between stitches, so it was actually sticking out between stitches. So I had to actually sit there in the movie theater and, by feel, backtrack, get my yarn loose, and then fix it. I was a little irritated with myself for doing that, and I was much more careful after that. But anyway, They're coming out nice. They're Knit Picks Felici. I'm to the point where I'm just going to finish this pink and then start doing the ribbing. I do have the second ball wound up and ready to go. I'm hoping to start it. The reason the toe is a different color is because I started it exactly where the color change was between the lime yellow and this pink color. And I'm hoping to start the other one in the same place so that they'll match. If the stripes were all the same width, I would just pick any color change and go with it. But because the stripes are different widths, this green is a much larger stripe than the pink or the black. You know, the purple's a bigger one. I just would feel better starting in the same place. That being said, I haven't actually looked at the ball to see how far in this color change is. If it's too far in, I may have to pick something else, but we'll see. So anybody that doesn't know, twitchy socks are called twitchy socks because my best friend said one day that I needed to make sure I had my sock knitting because otherwise I get twitchy in the movies. So after that point, any socks that just sort of stay in my purse for waiting rooms, movies, etc. are twitchy socks because they keep me from twitching. I also am spinning. Now, I didn't spin that much this past week. Monday, by the time I did the podcast, and the podcast was short. I mean, it wasn't a problem. It uploaded and everything. But by the time I was done, I was exhausted. And I just didn't get any further. So I didn't do any spinning that night. I didn't spin on... And then I really kind of got into knitting the hat. So I did that on some nights when I normally would have spun. So I only got one... this is 1.3 ounces. One bobbin of... spinning done. This is the silver yak merino silk blend. Obviously not a woolly winder bobbin. So I'm going to do the alpaca next. I have 6. I divided everything up into the same weight, and I had 8 ounces of the alpaca and 8 ounces of the silver yak, and so I divided them all up into little 1.3 ounce balls, and I have 6 of each, and so far I have spun 2 of each. So I was hoping to be farther by this time because this is for the birthstone-a-long, and now I'm thinking I don't know if I'm going to make it because I have plans. Friday I'm going to the Midwest Fiber. Hopefully that won't change much. Saturday I should be home, so hopefully I'll get a lot of spinning done. And Sunday I'm going to see Wicked with my friend Jenny. Things are different right now because my son is actually came home for the summer. That wasn't the original plan, but frankly, Mom wanted a break from a 16-year-old. She, with Dad gone, she's kind of doing a single-parent role, and she needed a break. He's a perfectly normal 16-year-old. He's not a bad kid, but he's still a 16-year-old, which means, you know, periodically he gets mouthy and things like that. So she's getting a break for the summer. He's here. It kind of just... things changed up. So, that's almost everything. I wanted to show you, I got this. This is called Happy Hands, and they have an Etsy store, and it says they have all these different scents of hand cream, and it's designed for knitters, crocheters. So it says hand blended with shea butter, sunflower oil, and aloe, especially for fiber artists and crafters. My hand cream will deeply moisturize your hands, absorb quickly, and will not leave a greasy residue to transfer to your handiwork. And she has an Etsy store. This says happyhandstore.com, but I actually got it at Etsy. She has you can get a sampler of all 32 cents for $15. So I bought this one. When she sent it, she also says with every order she'll send one sample. Well, she actually, you can see rose petals right there. She actually sent me a sample of rose petals that was not in the case. Because it wasn't all tied up and pretty, I used that one yesterday. And it actually, I don't like the smell of the rose petals. That's not a scent for me. But the amount in the little sample was exactly the amount you needed for, one go. And she's right. It absorbed very quickly and my hands felt soft. So I'm going to play around with the different scents, and if I find a couple I like, then I will probably order a full-size one. But I ordered the sampler because I didn't know what kind of scents I wanted. Although, like I said, I tried the rose petal yesterday and went, nope, that one's not for me. Alright, I keep looking at my show notes. Java Pearl, who does the Geeky Girl Knits podcast, put out a call the other day saying she could use test knitters. So if you would like to be put on her test knitting list, to let her know. So on Ravelry, she is Java Pearl. And also Victoria Blue of our group is looking for some people to test knit some of her designs. So if you have any interest, contact her. I unfortunately do not feel like I have time to test knit for anybody. Plus I get to a point where I don't do well with obligation knitting. But I think both of them are worthy. Wow. My brain just fried. So, alright, that's everything. So, oh, no. One last thing. Yesterday, Sunday, in one of the local towns, they did a fly-in at the local small airport. So there was all these kinds of small planes, and best friend's dad is a pilot, and he has his own small plane. It's currently not running, so he didn't have his out, but they do a fly-in, and with it they do a breakfast: pancakes, eggs, bacon, not bacon, ham. It is timed with Father's Day, but it wasn't really a Father's Day event. I mean, I suppose some people went there because it was Father's Day, but so I guess they do it every year. To be frank, my hometown also did a fly-in on Saturday, and they've done that for several years now, and we've never gone to that. So I do have pictures of several of the planes, so I won't run you through all of them. And I didn't identify them because I don't know what they are, and I figured it was better to leave them unidentified than to identify them incorrectly. So now that's all. I will talk to you guys all next week. Bye now.